Dear students, welcome to another video tutorial on operating system. And today's concept is virtual memory. Myself Niladri Shekhar Pal. I am working as an assistant professor at Computer Science and Engineering Department at Greater Kolkata College of Engineering and Management. The college is under JIS Group and this college is situated at Barikpur. So what is virtual memory? Basically, a virtual memory is a storage, okay? Virtual memory is a storage scheme, okay, that provides user an illusion of having a very big main memory. Okay, as we know that the main memory is limited. Okay, so we cannot afford a huge main memory. Okay, though it is a very costly. Okay, so the virtual concept of virtual memory has been introduced. It is basically a part of secondary memory, okay, which has been used as a part as works as a main memory. Okay, that is why it is called a virtual memory. Okay, this is done by treating a part of secondary memory as the main memory. In this scheme, user can load the bigger size processes than the available main memory by having the illusion that the memory is available to load the process. Okay, so in this case, users can load the bigger size processes than the available memory. Suppose your main memory size is 1 GB, okay, but you want to load a process that size is 1.5 GB, okay. So at that case, the use of virtual memory is very much necessary, okay. Instead of loading one big process in the main memory, the operating system basically loads the different parts of more than one process in the main memory. So what's happened that suppose the size of the process is 1.5 GB and the size of the main memory is 1 GB. Okay. So what happened? That process has been divided into different parts. Suppose it has been divided into 10 parts. Okay. So the parts are suppose P1, P2, P3 up to P10, from P1 to P10. Okay. So suppose from P1 to P5 are executing it by the main memory, and from P6 to P10 are in the virtual memory or basically in the secondary memory. So after completing those processes from P1 to P5, okay, or suppose when the P1 process has been the P1 part rather has been completed, then it has been swapped with the part P6. Okay, so this is how all the processes has been executed in the main memory. By doing this, the degree of multiprogramming will be increased and therefore the CPU utilizations will also be increased. Okay, so if we do this way, okay, so what will happen? Then the degree of multiprogramming, that is what happens that we can execute multiple processes, okay, at the same time. Okay, suppose P1 of process P is executing, okay, and parallelly Q1 part of Q process also executing, okay. So the multiprogramming will be executed efficiently. Next one, how to manage the virtual memory. Basically, operating system have the default settings, okay, that determines the amount of hard drive space to allocate for virtual memory. That setting will work for most applications and processes, but there may be times when it's necessary to manually reset the amount of hard drive spaces allocated to virtual memory, okay, such as with applications that depends on fast response times or when the computer has multiple hard disks. Okay? When manually resetting virtual memory, the minimum and maximum amount of hard drive space to be used for virtual memory must be specified. Okay? If a system continually needs more virtual memory space, it may be wise, okay, to consider adding RAM. Okay? So If virtual memory can be used single time, okay, but using multiple times virtual memory, then we have to think for a extension of main memory or extension of RAM, okay. Allocating too little hard disk space for virtual memory can result in a computer running out of RAM, okay. So if we continuously do it, okay, then there must be a running out of shortage of RAM. So what are the benefits of virtual memory? Basically, large programs can be written, okay. A virtual space available is huge compared to physical memory. Less I/O required, okay. That is leads to faster and easy swapping of processes. More physical memory available as programs are stored on virtual memory. Okay, so they occupy very less space on actual physical memory. Okay, so this virtual memory concept is basically not exist. Only the concepts is exist. There is no physical existence of virtual memory. Okay, only the secondary memory are used as the main memory. That is basically that those portions of main secondary memory that is used as the main memory. That is basically the virtual memory. Okay, so this is how the virtual memory works. Okay, this you can see that this is the computer. These are the virtual addresses. Rather, you can if you see from this portion, it will be very easy for you. You can see that this is a secondary memory. This one the highest, okay, largest, okay. So if you want to execute something, at first it will come to the main memory. Okay. So that portion will be executed at main memory. Okay. So this is the cache memory, we will discuss it later. And after this is the virtual address. Okay. But this is the cache memory and this is called the virtual memory. Okay. So virtual addresses are required, okay, to mapping to the main memory. Okay. So this is how the virtual memory works. Okay. This is the translation. Okay. This is the virtual address. Logical addresses is translated into, or we can say that the virtual addresses are translated into physical addresses. Okay. This is the highest, is the secondary memory, the main memory, then the cache memory. This is the virtual address. Okay. So there is a relation between virtual address and secondary memory. Okay. So this is the demand paging. Okay. What is demand paging? Suppose this is the main memory, this is the secondary memory. Okay. Suppose this is the process 1, this is the process 2. Okay, you can see that the process, there are multiple part of this process and this is the multiple process part of process 2. Okay. So what is demand paging? A demand paging is basically a system, okay, which is quite similar to a paging system with swapping, okay, where processes resides in a secondary memory and pages are loaded only on demand, not in advance, okay. So in case of demand paging, when we demand any page, okay, that is loaded from the secondary memory. Basically that resides in the secondary memory. Okay. So in advance it is not loaded. When we require it, it is loaded. Okay. So as you can see that everything is in the secondary memory. When it is required, it is loaded to the main memory. As you can see, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, these are all the part of the resources. These are basically the resources. Okay. So when one resource required, it will go to the main memory. Okay. Suppose B is required, B goes to the process. Okay. So after completing its work, these resources are again back to the secondary memory. As you can see that these are HGH, IJ, these are all the resources. Okay. And it used in the process too. Okay. After uses of these resources are swapped out to the secondary memory. When a context switch occurs, the operating system does not copy any of the old programs pages out of the disk or any of the new programs pages into the main memory. Instead, it just begins executing the new program after loading the first page and fetches the program's pages as their reference. Okay. So when a context switch occurs, the operating system, this is basically the context switch. Okay. As you can see that this is swap in, swap out. Okay. So in case of context switching, the operating system does not copy any one of the old program's pages, okay, out to the disk or any of the new program's pages into the main memory. Instead, it just begins executing the new program after loading the first page and fetches the program's pages as their reference. Okay, so there is a reference. While executing a program, if the program references a page which is not available in the main memory because it was swapped out a little ago, the processor treats this invalid memory reference, okay, as a page fault and transfers controls from the program to the operating system to demand the page back into the main memory. Okay, so while executing a program, if the program references a page, okay, which is not available in the main memory because it was swapped out a little ago, the processor treats this as an invalid memory reference. So, as a page fault occur, okay, and transfers controls from the program to the operating system to demand page back into the main memory. Okay. So, what is page fault? Suppose CPU requires a resource, okay, but at that time that resource is not available or that has been used by other processes, okay, so that is treated as the page fault, okay. So if the program references a page which is not available in the main memory because there may be many reasons like swapped out a little ago, the processor treats that one as a page fault, okay. What are the advantages and disadvantages of design page? The advantages are the large virtual memory, okay. So as you know that the complete secondary memory can be used as a virtual memory, okay. So this may be treated as an advantage, okay, for the demand paging. Next one is more efficient use of memory. Okay, we can use the memory more efficiently in case of demand paging. The third one is there is no limit of degree of multi-programming. Okay, so in case of demand paging, there is no limit of degree of multi-programming. Okay, and what are the disadvantages? Number of tables and the amount of processor overhead for handling page interrupts are greater than in the case of the simple page management technique. Okay, so these are the disadvantages of demand page. As you can see, the pictorial representation of demand page. Okay, so this is the program A, this is the program B, these are the resources, this is the swap in, and after complete, these are the swap out. Okay, this is basically the main memory, and this is the secondary memory. Okay, so the basic idea behind the demand paging is that when a process is swapped in, the pages are not swapped in all at once. Okay, so when a page process is swapped in, its pages are not swapped in all at once. Okay, so all the pages are not swapped in, which is required that is swapped in. Rather, they are swapped in only when the process needs them. Okay, so when there is a demand of that process, then that process will be swapped. This is termed as lazy swapper. Okay, although a page is more accurate term. Next, the page replacement algorithm. Okay, so what is page replacement algorithm? Basically, page replacement algorithms are the techniques, okay, using which an operating system decides which memory pages to swap out. Write to disk when a page of memory needs to be allocated. Okay, suppose there are 3 or 4 pages are in the memory. Okay, suppose there is another page that want to come Okay, but I'm giving you a pictorial representation that will be better for you. Okay, suppose this is a memory. Okay, this is the memory. It can show basically three available. Okay, suppose one, two, and three. All the spaces are occupied, and there is four and waiting for. Okay, so where the four will be placed? So there must be replacement between these three. Okay, 4 can be replaced by 1, 4 can be replaced by 2, or 4 can be replaced by 3. Okay, so this is the basically the funda of page replacement. So I am saying again discussing what is page replacement. Suppose these are the three pages are in the memory. Okay, and why 3? Because it may store maximum 3 pages. Okay, suppose 4 want to insert. Okay, so, but there is no space available. Okay. So, 4 must be replaced by any one of these. Okay. So, arbitrarily, we cannot swap it with 1 arbitrarily or 2 or 3. Okay. So, there must be some algorithm using which we can replace any one of these 3 with 4. That is the concept of page replacement. Okay. Then paging happens whenever a page fault occurs and a free page cannot be used for allocation purpose. Accounting to reasons that pages are not available or the number of free pages is lower than the required pages. Okay. So if we when the page fault occurs, in the previous case, as we have illustrated that 1 to 3 are available or in the memory, okay, and 4 is 4 1 to insert. Okay, as 4 was not in the memory, so there is a page fault. Okay, so when page fault will not occur, giving another example. Okay, suppose in the memory there are 3. This is 1. And these 3 are there. Next one that will execute will be 3. Okay, so there is no page fault. Why? Because 3 is already there. If it was 2, then there will also be not a page fault. Why? Because 2 is there. If 1, then also there is no page fault. Why? Because 1 is there. Okay, so if the pages that we want to execute that is in the memory, then there is no page fault. When there is another option is suppose this is the memory, okay, which can store 3. 1 is there, 2 is there. This is a free. 4 1 2 insert. So there is no page fault. 4 will be inserted there as there is a free space available. Okay. So this is the two cases when page fault will not happen or there is no need of page replacement algorithm. Okay, so page replacement algorithm is required when there is a page fault occurs. Okay, so for page replacement algorithm to be occurred, page fault must be necessary. When the page that was selected for replacement and was paged out is referenced again, it has to read in from this and this requires for an IO completion. Okay? This process determines the quality of the page replacement algorithm. The lesser the timing waiting for pages, the better is the algorithm. If any page state requires less timing to insert in the memory, that algorithm is the best one. Okay? So there a page replacement algorithm looks at the limited information about accessing the pages, okay, provided by the hardware and tries to select which pages should be replaced to minimize the total number of page misses, okay, while balancing it with the costs of primary storage and processor times of the algorithm itself. There are many different page replacement algorithms, okay. Now, what is page fault? A page fault happens, as I have told earlier, when a running program accesses a memory page that is mapped into the virtual address space but not in the physical memory. There is not no page in the physical memory. Since the actual physical memory is much smaller than the virtual memory, then the chances of page fails happen. In case of page faults, operating system might have to replace one of the existing pages with the newly needed page. Okay? Different page replacement algorithms suggest different ways to decide which page to replace. Okay? So there are different page replacement algorithm as I have told earlier, which will decide which page will be replaced by the new one. So as you can see, there are three algorithms mainly. Okay, the first one is the FIFO, that is first come first out. Next one is the optimal page replacement algorithm, and the third one is ALRU, that is least recently used. Okay, these are the three main page replacement algorithms. Let's discuss each one of them. The first one is page replacement algorithm. So in this algorithm, the queue is maintained. Okay, in this algorithm, page replacement algorithm, the first one, okay, which came to the main memory will be replaced with the new one. Okay, so a queue has been maintained, as you know, that the queue always do the first in, first out mechanism. Okay, so the page which is assigned the frame first will be replaced first. In other words, the page which resides at the rear end of the queue will be replaced on the every page fault. Okay, if any page faults happen, then the page which is in the rear position will be replaced by the new one. In this algorithm, the operating system keeps track of all the pages in the memory in a queue. The oldest page is in the front of the queue. Okay. Next, when a page needs to be replaced, page fault in the front of the queue is selected for removal. Okay, so I am giving you an example. Suppose these are the pages. Total capacity of this memory is 3. Okay. So at first it is empty. So one requested, so one will be pasted. Next two, we have two free spaces. Okay. One. Two. Next one is this is 1. This is 2. This is the next is the 4. So while 4 will be placed, so in case of FIFO algorithm, FIFO page replacement algorithm, we have to see, we have basically 3 pages are there, 1, 2 and 3. So any one of these 3 will be replaced with 4. So in case of FIFO page replacement algorithm, the page which is first inserted in the memory will be swapped with the new one. So from 1, 2 and 3, these 3, 1 has been inserted first. Okay, so 4 will be replaced with 1. Okay, so 4 has been replaced with 1. The next one is 5. Okay. So 4, 2 and 3. These three pages are there. So from which it will be replaced, as you can see that this is 4, 2 and 3. Okay. So among 4, 2 and 3, 2 has been inserted first between these three. Okay. So 5 will be replaced with 2. Okay. So this is 4, this is 3. Okay. So this is the funda of page replacement algorithm. FIFO page replacement algorithm. The first one which has been inserted will be replaced with the new one. Okay. Next comes the optimal page replacement algorithm. This is also an important. This algorithm replaces the page which will not be referred for so long in future. Okay. Although it cannot be practically implemented, but it can be used as a benchmark. Other algorithms are compared to this in terms of optimality. An optimal page replacement algorithm has the lowest page fall rate of the algorithm. Okay, an optimal page replacement algorithm exists and has been called OPT or mean. Replace the page that will not be used for the longest period of time. Use the time when the page is to be used. Okay. So in case of optimal page replacement algorithm, we will check which page will not be used in future for long time. Okay. So we will replace with that page. Okay. Suppose we- I'm giving you an example. It will be better. Suppose there are these prices are there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Okay. So these are the okay. So these are the pages. Okay. This is the first one. At first I'm doing this one. 1, 2, 3. This will be placed as this one. There is no problem using this. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Next come to the 4. What? 4 will be replaced. Okay. So the concept is there is 1, 2 and 3. Okay. So the 4 will be replaced with any one of these. So we have to check here. We have to see right this way. Okay. Okay, as you can see, which one has the which or we can say which will be used later in the future. Okay. So after 4 it is 2, then 1, then it is 3. Okay. So among 1, 2 and 3, 3 will be used later. Okay. Then 2 and 1. Okay. So 4 will be replaced with 3. Okay. So 4 will be replaced with so 4 will be yeah. Okay. Next come this two. We will see this one 1, 3 and 1. As 2 is here, there is no page replacement. Then it is 1, 3, 1. 1 is also here. Then 3. Okay, so where 3 will be placed? As you can see that after 3 that is only 1. Okay. So 2 and there is no 2 and 4. Okay. So we can swap anyone between 2 and 4. Okay. And replacing 1 with 3 with 2. Okay. So this is 1. This is 3. This is 4. Okay. So as you can see that In case of optimal page replacement algorithm, total number of page fault is less. Okay, so optimal page replacement algorithm is very much essential. Okay, so what is the concept of optimal page replacement algorithm? In case of optimal page replacement algorithm, the process which has the less use in the future, or rather it is better to say which has the which use is much will take much time. Okay, that will be replaced. Okay, next one is the LRU page replacement algorithm. This algorithm basically replaces the page which has not been referred for a long time. Okay, this algorithm is just opposite to the page replacement algorithm optimal. Okay, in case of optimal page replacement algorithm, we will replace the page which has the later used in the future. But in case of LRU page replacement algorithm, we will replace the page which has already used, okay, and which is previously used at first. It is similar as first in first out, but not first in first out. In this, we look at the past instead of starting at future. In this algorithm, pages are replaced which would not be used for the longest duration of time in the future. In this algorithm, pages are replaced which would not be used for the longest duration of time in this. Okay. This algorithm suffers from the situation in which a page is used heavily during the initial phase of a process, but then is never used again. Okay, I'm just giving you an example. Suppose this is one, this is two. So 1, 2, 3 can be this. One, then two, and then three. Okay. So now four will be replaced. Okay. So between 1, 2 and 3, which has been used first or which has been, as you can see that 3 has been used after 2, 3 is the latest, 2 is used before 3 but after 1. Okay, so it is newer than 1 but older than 2, and 1 is the oldest. So 4 will be replaced with 1. This is 4, then 2, then okay. Then this 2. 2 is already available here, so there is no case for. Then this 1. Okay. So as we can see that if it is in first out, then we can say that 2 will be replaced with 1. But in this case, 2 will not be replaced with 1 before, because 2 has been used just before the 1. Okay, 2 may be used previously, but 2 is also used recently. Okay, so among 4, 2 and 3, 3 has been used oldest. Okay, uses of 3 is oldest. Okay, so 3 will be replaced by 1. Okay, so have you understood why 3? Okay, as 3 has been used, so it is a better way if you can see in this direction. Okay, so 1 will be replaced from 2, there is a right arrow. So 2, 4, 3. Which one is the oldest? 3. That is why. Okay. The next one is 2. 2 is available here. Next one is 5. Okay. So 4 to 1 is here. This is 2. This is 1. This is 4. So which one is the oldest? 4 is the oldest. So 5 will be replaced with 4. So 5. There it is 2. Then it is 1. Okay, so this is the LRU page replacement algorithm. So in case of LRU page replacement algorithm, those had been used earlier that will be replaced. Okay, this is opposite of optimal page replacement algorithm, but there is a similarity with the first in first out. Okay, so students, this is about all the virtual memory and page fault and page replacement algorithms. In our later next future, we will discuss about the examples on this page replacement algorithms, and we will also discuss different problems that has came in different gate exams or in your university exams. Okay. If you have liked my video, you can like my channel or subscribe my channel. Or if you have any doubt, you can comment on the comment section, or you can visit www.facebook.com/digitalclassroom to like my page. So students, thank you for now. See you in the next video.